strong. It's God's side and the other side. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Hey, everybody get exposed. Good morning, everybody. Amazing Grace Sports Network here. WEZE Radio, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Gab. We're on everything. iHeartRadio, probably. That's one of the things I don't even know about. But I'm here with the inimitable Kevin Chrism. I believe he's out there somewhere.
Morning, everybody.
There we go. And well, I'm in sunshine. I'm bathed in sunshine here. I don't know if anyone can tell, but I'm bathed in sunshine. And Kevin tells me it's 30 degrees up in our studio in Boston.
That means you're not here in Boston. When you come back and see us, Clay, bring some warm weather with you, because it feels like every weekend here in the past 3 or 4 weekends it's been the same. It's been a wash, but that's okay.
It's because I haven't been there. You know, if I'm there, then the sunshine.
I guess so.
Yeah, right. But I can say that, but yeah, I hear it's going to snow. Is it going to snow?
Some parts. I saw some snow on some car today. Not here, but just wind and rain. Just a really just nasty today and into tomorrow as well.
Unbelievable. Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? We're talking about snow, April 12th.
I know. It's crazy.
In the northern New England region, which is like Rhode Island, Boston, and up. Can you believe it?
It's been cold here too throughout the week. We haven't had rain. It's just been cold.
Gosh.
So bring warm weather, sunshine, and everything else that Florida has. Well, maybe not everything.
Lots of birds and lots of sunshine. Ladies and gentlemen, we're glad you're here. Hey, listen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen. The Amazing Grace Sports Network is Saturday. If it's at 9 o'clock, we are on. And I think it's time for us to get to a prayer. So my prayer today is a thankful prayer. And I have a little outline that I'm going to look at, but I'm going to improv as I go along because I'm throwing different things into it. So let's get right to it. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for today. Thank you, Lord, for WEZE. Thank you, Lord, for Kevin Chrism. Thank you, Lord, for being alive at this period of time in my life where many people are not at this particular age. When I was growing up, who knew that I was going to last this long and be this prolific in life? Thank you, Lord, for everything that you brought me. Thank you for even the bad times, because the bad times enabled me to pray even more and even harder to become a better person. So in season and out of season, thank you for everything. And I hope that everyone who's out there understands that if you give thanks, you're going to give more. So give thanks in season and out of season. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we can move on to Today in History. As soon as I can find that, here we go. Kevin's great. Kevin's fantastic. He's the best producer there is. I got to tell you. Thank my lucky stars. Today in history, ladies and gentlemen, on April 12th, 1877. Yes, April 12th, 1877, the first catcher's mask was used in a baseball game. Okay, the year is 1877. And there's this newly created pitch called the curveball. And the curveball is the rage in the world of baseball. But with this new pitch, catchers have to play up closer because, see, the ball is dropping down. It's just not a fastball that's coming straight at you. It's a curveball that's going to drop, and they have to get closer to the plate. So they're getting a lot of foul tips in the chest area, neck area, and face area that it's really proven damaging the catches. So, of course, out of Harvard University, the player manager of the Harvard Crimson baseball team, a guy by the name of Fred Thayer, is thinking, how can I change this? Because my catcher, James Ting, he's getting pummeled back there. So he comes up with a design, thinking in mind of a fencer. You know, the fencers who, the fencer mask. He creates a mask out of a fencing design, and it becomes the catcher's mask, and it is debuted on April 12th, 1877, in a game with the Lynn Live Oaks baseball team. And I don't know if they won or not, but that's the first time a baseball catcher's mitt was used. And my question is, how much do you think the catcher's mug was being sold for back in 1877? High price. Okay, moving on down the line. That went over very well. In 1941, April 12th, 1941, the Boston Bruins, yes, at the Olympia Stadium in Detroit, they defeated the Detroit Red Wings 3-1 for a 4-0 sweep, and to claim the trophy donated by Frederick Arthur, Lord Stanley of Preston in England, not in Canada, but in England. Lord Stanley of Preston, also known as the Stanley Cup, okay? And my question is, what American team has won the Cup the most? What American Hockey League team has won the Stanley Cup the most? And if you get that answer, we got prizes and gifts and certificates for you. And the last one, in 1980, the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Boston Red Sox 18-1. Yes, 1980, April 12th, 1980, 18-1 behind Cecil Cooper and Don Money's hitting grand slams in the second inning of that game. Now, my question to you, Red Sox fans out there, and I know John's going to know this, which of these two players play for the Boston Red Sox? That's going to be a layup for most of you. And with that, well, we're just going to move right along. That's it. That's our 3 questions for today in history. What do you think about that, Kevin?
Very good. Always walking down memory lane. I like that. Before my time.
Well before. Some of that was before my time. Not much of it, but some of it was before my time. I actually remember the 1980 thing is. So I'll tell you what. Let's do our commercials, and then we will come back, and we're just going to focus on our Red Sox and how bad are they and why.
Well, we'll both have a lot to say on that.
We'll both have a lot to say, so we'll just get the commercials out the way. Hey, are you feeling a little achy or sore from the cold weather? Then take a visit to Dylan's Russian Steam Bath. At Dylan's Dry Sauna or Wet Steam Room, you can de-escalate, de-stress, and detox your body and mind. A hot place of massage or a variety of oil massages are available. You will enjoy the relaxed atmosphere that features a nutritious snack bar, large screen television, and comfortable lounge chairs to cool off in during your visit. They have 2 convenient locations, one in Chelsea and the other in Quincy. Find them online at Dylan's Russian Steam Bath or call 617-549-3484 for more information. To enjoy your best health, visit Dylan's Russian Steam Bath, where heat, steam, and water have a therapeutic effect. Ladies and gentlemen, how would you like to feel better, stand straighter, and enjoy daily activities without pain? Then look no further than Karma Don Yoga. As one of the more accomplished yoga instructors in the New England area, Karma embraces many different styles of yoga, including vinyasa, slow flow, yin, and restorative, in order to tap into your pranic energy and create a balanced mix of healing, stretch, and strength. Find her and her very affordable classes online at karmadonyoga.com. That's karma, like good karma, bad karma, dawn, like the morning dawn, yoga.com. You guys are going to need some yoga after that sauna that you're going to get at Dillon's, and you guys are going to need it because at 30 degrees, it might drop to 20, okay? And you need to get to Dillon's in order to get that cold snap out of you. Just get into that steam room or that sauna, that dry sauna, and let it work its way out. And then go do a yoga class with Commodon. I tell you, you guys will thank me for this. You really thank me. Okay.
Thank you, Clay.
What we got?
Well, you want to start in the Red Sox?
Yeah, let's get that out the way.
Go ahead. Why don't you get things going?
The Boston Red Sox. Ladies and gentlemen, how did it get to be this bad? At one time, I was picking this team for the World Series, and now the Red Sox are so bad that they were beaten last night by a team that had lost 8 in a row. 8 games in a row, the Chicago White Sox. Now, after losing 8 games in a row, I understand the law of averages to win, they tilt in your favor. But losing 8 games in a row also indicates you are a bad team. And tasty barbecue chicken to any average to above average team with a will to win. And bam, there it is. A will to win. Do the Red Sox have a will to win? I'm not so sure. Do they have a pulse? I don't feel the pulse. I don't feel this. I don't feel anybody who's the soul of the team. And what I mean by that is in 1967, you had Carl Yastrzemski. 1975, you had Fred Lynn. You had Jim Rice. Then the early 2000 teams, you had Pedro Martinez, Kurt Schilling, David Ortiz, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Johnny Gomes, John
Dustin
Lester.
Pedroia.
Back in 2000,
Pedroia.
Excuse me?
Pedroia.
Yeah, Pedroia, Petey. You had these guys. They were the soul of the team. I feel no pulse with this team. I feel nothing. I don't feel a heartbeat. I don't feel a pulse. I don't feel a soul. It's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. And is it just me? Or do you guys kind of feel the same way about this Boston Red Sox team, that they're just, content? There's no hunger there. Rafi Devers, he leads its strikeouts. I think he has 21. But Trevor Story's right behind him with 18. Tristan Casas has 17, and I think another guy has 16. Are we kidding? Lay down a bunt. I don't care what you do. And they won the other game. The last game they won on a number that was misplayed. They're not getting any runs. They're not knocking anything in. When there's people on base, these high-priced guys can't get a hit. They can't get a hit when it plays in scoring position. I think I'm belaboring the point, but the point I'm trying to make is I don't feel anything with this team. I don't feel anything, and I'm scared about that. I wish there was a Mookie Betts, a Xander Bogaerts, a J.D. Martinez that they had back in 2018. Somebody. Say what you want about these guys. You knew that they were going to give you all, and they were going to be the guys that you could depend on to get the hit when you needed it. Even Jackie Bradley. I've been lying that guy so bad, but when you needed a hit, Jackie Bradley wasn't going to strike out most of the times like these guys. Well,
maybe more so. Maybe. You needed to make a great catch in the outfield. Jackie Bradley was your guy.
Yeah. Well, you didn't really want him up there when it was, the game was on the line. He was not the guy I wanted to see. But I'm going to tell you, I feel about the same way about any of the guys that's on this team right now as I feel about Jackie Bradley then. And he was at the low end of the totem pole as far as hitting on those teams. Betts, Bogaerts, Benintendi, Martinez, take the Rick Porcello. Where's our ace?
I wouldn't, any stretch of the imagination, say Rick Porcello was an ace. He had a good year when he won the Cy Young.
Had a great year.
I don't think he was much of an ace with the Red Sox. But Clay, I agree with many of your points made, and I didn't really factor in the psychological angle about sort of the pulse of the team as much as you have. And hearing you articulate those points, I agree with you. There is not really a solid leader on this team. The Red Sox, through contracts, have sort of established that Rafael Devers is the future and is the leader of this team. But I certainly don't feel as though Rafael Devers is a leader of the team.
I don't either.
I don't portray that to be true. Given everything that's happened with his move from third base to DH and the controversy that existed throughout spring training, it didn't seem to me like a leader doesn't question the manager, and Rafael Devers questioned his manager, and I would argue he wasn't wrong to do that. But a leader goes in, doesn't ask questions, and does what he's supposed to do, and that's lead a group of men on the field each and every day. Game 160.
Well, to take your point a little bit, just to explain, the leader would sit down with the manager first and kind of hash this thing out, not make comments to reporters about what he thinks should happen.
And Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts and J.D. Martinez, Dustin Pedroia, David Ortiz, all those guys that you just named, nobody's walking through the door to suit up and play anymore. That's not happening. Those days are done.
Yeah.
Thanks to some of it, thanks to our great ownership and
Great
of course,
management ownership. Yeah.
Second, because they're just retired. But I think you're right, Clay. The Red Sox are lacking leadership right now. And, the average fan, the average Red Sox fan, the average fan of Major League Baseball will sit there and say, well, it's early. They've only played, 4 series. It's 5 series, including the one in Chicago. It's early. There's more than 140 games still to be played and yada, yada, yada. Well, I don't take that viewpoint. I believe in a division like the American League East, where you have the Yankees, you have the Orioles. The Orioles have started off a little bit scuffling, but I expect them to pick
They're going to
things
pick it
up.
up.
Toronto has started off the year surprisingly on a good path,
Who knew?
which nobody really expected. And obviously they finally figured out with Vlad Guerrero, and they signed him to a mega deal and keeping him around for the next 14 years. And then you have Tampa Bay, who, Tampa Bay won't be a team like the Chicago White Sox, who, by the way, as we all remember last year, lost 121 games to set the all-time losing record in the modern era of the Major League Baseball league, and only won 41 games last year. And here we are now getting blown out by them in game 1 of the series, letting up 11 runs and 5 errors. And you have your top guys, Duran, Devers, and Bregman, combined for 1 hit. Sean Newcomb didn't have it. I don't think Sean Newcomb, I know he's a Brockton local guy. I don't think Sean Newcomb really ever had it. He's just sort of been anchoring the rotation until either Giolito, Crawford, or Bayo is coming back, which we hope would be soon, so we can balance out this rotation a little bit better. And hopefully those guys come back healthy and willing to contribute.
And productive. Come back not only willing to contribute, but are productive.
Correct, because I haven't been as impressed with the rotation. Besides Crochet, not impressed with Walker Buehler by any stretch of the word. Walker has got really roughed up the game that the Red Sox came out firing on all cylinders offensively opening day last Friday against the Cardinals, where he had back-to-back home runs from Story and Abreu. I watched most of the game. It was really a great game, and for the first time in a while, Clay, that I was excited to watch the Red Sox. And I said to myself, wow, this is what we've been missing for the past 3 years at Fenway Park. This is what we're missing. And Lou Maloney, who, of course, does a great job commentating the games on NESN, said the same thing. Yes. And we've been missing that really since when the Red Sox went on that great run in 2021, where nobody really expected them to go to the American League Championship Series, and we're 1 game away from going to the World Series. Haven't experienced that in the past 3 years. And here we are now, the Red Sox sitting at 7-8. 7-8, they could be worse, they could be better, that's for sure. But as I mentioned with the American League East, as we go forward here in this division, if the Red Sox miss out in the playoffs, as they did last year by 2.5 games, or if they miss out on the division, whatever, I'm going to come back and look at this series. And we'll see how 2 other games go. They play today and tomorrow, of course, in Chicago. But if the Red Sox don't win this series, and particularly the next 2 games, I'm going to come back and look at this series, Clay, and we'll come back here in September, in early October, because it's going to be here before we know it.
This will be one of the series.
And I'm going to say, remember when they went to Chicago early in the year and they got blown out in the first game of the series when they let up 11 runs and they had their top guys combine for 1 hit and commit 5 errors? This is the series that I'm going to look for. So I hope the Red Sox come out today with Richard Fitz on the mound.
Oh, gosh.
No
I'm not confident in Fitz. We'll see what happens.
Not impressed with Mr. Fitz.
Right.
So I would hope going forward that the Red Sox wake up, get their heads out of their you-know-whats, and let's get going here.
Now, I got a suggestion here. The best player on the team. Who's the best player on this team right now, Kevin?
Well, right now, statistic-wise and offensively, it's Wilyer Abreu.
Wilyer Abreu. And I got to say this. Here's a guy that I said they could have traded before the season started to get a top-line pitcher. I wouldn't do that now, but just hear me out. Wilyer, you're the best player on this team, hands down. I mean, really, and also you're the guy who comes in through the clutch, and that's more important than all the statistics. But you are leading in all the statistics: home runs, hits, batting average. But coming through in the clutch is the most important stat that everyone cares about and lets everyone know you're the guy that they can depend on. That being said, will you're going to have to take more of a leadership role. Okay, Rafi Devers is not going to do it. The guy he's a good player, but he's not a leader. I give you another guy. Who's that guy? Lamar Jackson, great player of the Baltimore Ravens, not a leader. Rafi Devers, not a leader. Okay. Trevor Story, not a leader. Alex Bregman, right now, I think at his age in his career, he could be a solid, a steady guy who can be leaned on. But I'm not sure at this point in his career that he's a leader, especially his first year on this team. Willia, this is your second year. This is more of your team than anybody else's. You had a great year last year. You had a situation where you won a Gold Glove in right field. So not only you're a great hitter, you're a great fielder, and you have a rocket of an arm. Anybody who dares to even think about trying to stretch out a single to a double or a double to a triple, okay, it's over. So you are that guy. But you're going to have to recognize you're that guy. And you're going to have to start demanding that your teammates take extra batting practice. I mean, when they're striking out, say, hey, buddy, maybe you should take extra batting practice. Or maybe you should do X, Y, and Z, whatever you feel, because you're that guy right now. And you're the guy who's going to be able to put a thumb on these other players to make them, okay, try a little bit harder than they're doing. And also maybe just to talk to them and tell them, hey, buddy, you can do it. Pick it up, Let's me and you start doing this. Let's get out here a little bit early. Let's start doing this a little bit early. Let's stay a little bit later. You're gonna have to be that guy, will you? Because you are that guy right now. You're gonna be the new Mookie Betts, the new David Ortiz, the new Dustin Pedroia. You're gonna be that spark plug, and you already have it in you. I think you just have to explore it a little bit more.
Among that certainly is not a leader. That would be Tristan Casas, batting 176. 1 home run, 3 RBIs this year. I've stated here on the show before, I've said to whoever would listen, I've never been impressed with Tristan Casas, and I really think the Red Sox should consider trading him. I know a lot of teams were interested in him in the offseason, but the Red Sox, for whatever reason, were not willing to part with him. The Red Sox have had a real problem in the past years of establishing a solidified first baseman. And for whatever reason, Casas, Travis Shaw, Sam Travis, whoever, they tried to Bobby Dahlbeck at one point. They tried to establish these guys as the future, and it just hasn't worked out. Really, the best first baseman, Clay, honestly, the Red Sox had was Mitch Moreland. And the great Mitch Moreland, who helped the Red Sox obviously win a World Series and just contributed solidly offensively in the 2018 run. He was here, and he's here in 17 as well. But the Red Sox, the Tristan Casas experiment, I have not been impressed with going forward. You've got Rafaela, who's batting in the same
196.
196. Bregman is contributing offensively. Duran has been okay. Story at times has been okay. Devers, obviously, we know his early season struggles. He's sort of started to come out of that. But otherwise, again, there is a leadership void on this team.
Big time.
And until that void is filled by whoever it may be, Clay, you're suggesting that it should be Willie Abreu. I look more to Trevor Story and Alex Bregman, the more veteran guys on the team. And I still continue to look at Rafael Devers, who the Red Sox have painted as the future of this franchise and as the face of this franchise. The only guy on the team that has been with the Red Sox since their 2018 World Series win. The guy that has contributed immensely to the success of this franchise. Well, maybe not so in the past couple of years, but particularly in 2018 and in 2021. So
great hitter, great player.
Until this void is filled, the Red Sox could continue to play mediocre baseball, and then we're going to sit and look at each other when the Red Sox finish the year 81-81, 82-80, whatever it is.
Oh gosh,
a couple of games out of a wild card, being nowhere near close to winning the division, and we'll continue to go through another off season and wonder, what we could have done better. And we can spend all this money on talent. We've been arguing that. Breslow did that, but at the end of the day, if there's no leadership in the clubhouse from the players,
that's what it's got to be, from the players.
This doesn't have it. And by the way, not just on leadership too, but the talent has to improve as well. Walker Buehler has to be better. There's no doubt about it. He has to be better going forward. If he had a better start against Toronto than he did against St. Louis. And by the way, St. Louis roughed Walker Buehler up big time in that game last Friday. And if the Red Sox didn't come out so strong as they did offensively, the Red Sox would have gotten blown out in that game.
They had him on the ropes. They had him on the ropes.
5 runs, 7 hits. I mean, I watched it. It was like he was throwing batting practice out there. And at one time, the Red Sox were up by 6 or 7 runs at one point.
Let me throw something in there. Let me throw something in on the Walker Buehler situation.
I was going to say, I thought the Cardinals were going to come back in that game, but go ahead.
You say he's got to be better. I'm not too sure he can be better. And you know, they knew that this was an up and down situation. He had not shown that he was that type of pitcher last year, his first year back from the Tommy John surgery. So they knew it was up and down. It was maybe he could, maybe he can't. I don't know if he can, which leaves, you know, what are you going to do? We're already psychoanalyzing the Red Sox, and it's only, 15 games into it. We're going to drive ourselves crazy with this. I will say this in closing about them. Bregman, he's committed 3 errors already. We're going to psychoanalyze ourselves about this because we said put Devers in the DH because he commits errors. Did we bring in Bregman? He becomes the new Devers. Here's what I'm thinking, and I always have this thing where you need a little competition in order to shake things up and make guys a little uncomfortable, just a little uncomfortable, so that they're thinking about it more. They're thinking about the job more, not the job, but thinking about what can they do to get better. Okay, it just can't be status quo. Okay, I commit 3 errors. You're not going to make the guy run around the base, you know, or run the park 7 or 8 times. But okay, listen, you got to do something. You got to show that there's some sort of discipline measure that you're going to use as far as, okay, we got to shake things up. Well, if that's the case, put Devers back in at third and stick Bregman at DH. Just hear me out. Just hear me out for a couple of games to light a fire under Alex Bregman. That's all I'm saying. And the same thing, we got Roman Anthony down in the mines. Why is Shadon Rafaela hitting 190 something when you got Roman Anthony down there? Bring him up and sit Rafaela down. The same goes with Tristan Costas. There's got to be somebody who can hit more than 170, who can play first base. There's got to be. It really can't be that bad, okay? So let's shake things up. You're already paying these guys. You may not want to sit them, you know, I don't know what you can do, but sit them down, let these younger guys play, and see if these younger guys can hit. If these guys can hit, let them keep hitting. It'll light a fire under these older guys.
Well, it's a problem that it may continue to persist if those 2 guys in particular you mentioned, Clay, Rafaela and Casas, continue to scuffle offensively. Alex Cora is going to have to start to make some decisions. And again, we talked about this off air too. You've got Yoshida hurt as well, and he's going to be coming back. And you got a logjam really with guys. And I'm not sure what Alex Cora is going to do because somebody is the odd man out. And honestly, when Yoshida comes back, I'm not sure what the Red Sox are going to do with him. He's got a big contract under his belt. The Red Sox threw a lot of money at him, and he just hasn't lived up to that, in my opinion. So I know the Red Sox have tried to trade him, but again, no team would take him with the money he's owed.
Well, think he can play first base?
No, I certainly don't. I certainly don't think that.
Maybe
they try to have Rafael Devers play first base.
He's got to be able to hit better than 170.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people can. And listen, the thing with Bregman, you know, I don't place a lot of blame on Bregman. Actually, without Alex Bregman, the Red Sox probably would be worse right now record-wise, given his offense. I know the defense times has not looked the best, but he's still a good third baseman. And offensively, he's someone that we do need here on this team. And again, that the signing was a tremendous move by Craig Breslow. But Alex Cora said it best. He said, we didn't hit, we didn't play defense, and we didn't pitch. Turn the page, be ready for tomorrow. We just got to be better. Well, I get that. And, you know, Alex is always the optimist. But he's right in the fact that you have to be better. You've got to play better. And you cannot afford to drop series and drop games like these against
the White Sox,
against teams like the Chicago White Sox. And so, you move on from yesterday and you go forward to today at 4:10 this afternoon, Chicago, behind Richard Fitz. And let's hope the Red Sox wake up here and move forward here in a better direction.
One last thing before we go to a commercial break. You're losing to the White Sox. You got an owner who doesn't care. And so the owner, Reinsdorf, doesn't care. He doesn't care whether his team loses or wins as long as he gets a profit. He's like the Jacobs, okay, as far as the Bruins go. He could care less. They lost the most games in baseball last season. He still made a profit, and he doesn't care if they lose this year as long as he makes a profit. But when you lose to a team that doesn't care, whose owner doesn't care, obviously the players don't care because they know the owner doesn't care. So they're just there to collect their checks. They just want to go home, collect the check, and go home. But when you lose to a team like that, and you show the lack of any player holding any other player accountable, okay? And just one of the things, I hold myself accountable, okay? William Abreu, for example, say I hold myself accountable, and I hold everybody on this team accountable for what's going on right now. That's what I'm talking about. The player who does that would be the leader of that team. And with that, I think that's as much as I want to say on the Red Sox because it's gonna drive me crazy.
Yeah, drives all of us crazy, that's for sure. 4:10 this afternoon, Game 2 of the series against the Chicago White Sox. Hey, before we go to commercial, we got Wayne checking in on the line, who's calling in. Wayne, good morning. Welcome on in.
Kevin, Clay, good morning.
Good morning, Wayne.
You forgot Rico Petrocelli
and Rico Petrocelli and Louis Tiant.
Yes, yeah, all Cam Boyd.
Oh gosh, yes. I remember. Let's just throw Roger Clemens in there too, because there was a time when he was dominant. Yes.
But Kevin, condolences on our Auburn pick. Our point guard did not show up, man.
I forgot. And honestly, Wayne, I forgot I picked Auburn last week. But you're right, Auburn did not win. And did you watch the Duke-Houston game? The final 30 seconds of that game.
No, you know what? I went to bed. I'm like, Duke got this wrapped up. And then the next thing I heard the next morning that they lost, I'm like,
yeah.
I was so distraught. I'm thinking, okay, they got it. I'm going to bed. Enough of this torture.
It was a sort of a blink and you miss it. I mean, you're up 6 with 30 seconds to go. You're really expected to win. And Houston, well, you can never count them out. And, of course, congrats to Florida Gators, who we're going to talk about this after our break, but Florida did win the national championship and last Monday against Houston. And Houston had a 12-point lead, and Florida came back and took it over and won their 3rd national title. And, yeah, crazy ending to not so crazy NCAA tournament this year for college basketball.
4 number ones, Final Four.
We have the Frozen Four championship
yes,
today.
Do.
I thought maybe that double overtime definitely helped the BU team on that game because that other team, I think their focus had shifted. I like BU to finish it off today. That BU line, Cole Eiserman, I mean, he is a sniper.
Jack Hughes and Cole Eiserman, great players for the BU Terriers, playing Western Michigan tonight at 7:30.
Yeah.
For the Frozen Four title.
And
in
that
St. Louis
BU
tonight.
that BU line was very instrumental in our winning the World Juniors against Canada in Canada. I mean, that BU line is phenomenal.
That's certainly true. And they had a great win against Penn State to get there. Listen, Wayne, I know we're both BC guys, but anytime we see BU win, and particularly in hockey, we sort of cringe, but we'll see what happens in St. Louis tonight against Western Michigan.
We die a little bit every time, but you know what? We're right up the road from there, so we'll keep it here. We'll keep it local, right?
No doubt about it.
Wait, what do you think about our Red Sox? Before I get too paranoid,
I still feel it's still early. I think Alex Cora have a way of reining these guys in off the third rail. All is not lost yet. I think the bats will heat up once the weather change. Alex knows which buttons to push with these guys, so it's not done yet.
Well, we can only hope, Wayne. We can only hope, and it is early. I've stated that too here, but again, we just cannot afford to play like we did last night against a team like the Chicago White Sox. 5 errors and letting up 11 runs. It just can't happen. It can't happen if they want to make a run in the postseason.
Baseball.
Well, this is going to be a good coaching material for him. So this is the kind of stuff that will motivate him. He'll go back into the drawing room and just to look, you just cannot happen. So out of the bad is going to come some good.
Well, let's hope. We can only hope.
That's a good way.
And we gotta go to commercial, but thanks so much as always for calling in.
You're welcome, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Send
Thank you, Wayne.
some sunshine our way, Clay.
Okay, I'll send it up there.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Our good friend Wayne. All right, why don't we go say hello to our friends at Oyama Investments, and we're going to come right back and talk a little bit about our Boston Celtics here, and a bit of a better note, I guess, than on the Boston
much better
so far. But yes, of course, if you're looking for a smart investment and searching for a place for your home, well, we want to welcome you to Oyama Investments, where your dreams do find a foundation. At Oyama Investments, they're more than just your real estate partner. They're your trusted partner, building a secure future. Whether you're investing in a property that'll grow with you or purchasing a dream home, they make the process easy, transparent, and also rewarding. They specialize in finding properties that align perfectly with your goals. Imagine yourself owning a piece of the future, whether it be a luxury apartment, a commercial space, or a family home in the perfect neighborhood. And if you're new to the real estate investment world, well, don't worry. They're every step of the way, helping you make informed choices with confidence. And with real estate prices rising, there's never been a better time to invest. And if you're ready to see your dreams come to life, visit www.oyamainvestments.com or give them a call today. They can be reached at 617-221-8881. Today, where your vision becomes a reality. That's our good friends at Oyama Investments.
Hey. Get a piece of the rock today, or a piece of Boston.
Yes, indeed. I want to thank them and Dylan's and Karma and everybody that keeps us on the air each and every weekend here on WEZE.
Yes, we do. And if you want to advertise with us, give the station a call, and we'll work it out.
So, Clay, the Boston Celtics 2024-2025 regular season just about at an end. They finish off
it's over
tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock tip-off at the Garden against the Charlotte Hornets, who the Celtics obliterated yesterday evening at home. I believe it was 130 to 94 against the lowly Charlotte Hornets. And Celtics, of course, have clinched the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, so they await the winner of the Atlanta Hawks Orlando Magic series. They'll play whoever wins that game will clinch the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. And, of course, the loser of that game will then play the winner of the Bulls and the Heat.
The Heat. Yeah,
series,
Bulls and
which,
Heat.
Of course, the Bulls 38-43 and the Heat 37-44, and yet still get a chance to get into the playoffs, which again I think is just wrong. Any team
There's
that
no integrity
has a record like
there's
that.
no integrity in the front office of the NBA. None.
Yeah, it's all about the dollar bills, that's for sure. And but we'll talk about out west first. But Clay, I know you have a couple thoughts on the Celtics we want to get to, so I'll turn to you.
My Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics have won 60 games for the second consecutive season. And I was thinking to myself, what is it? What makes the Boston Celtics great? What is it about this team? What are the attributes? And if we take it player by player, okay, Jrue Holiday, steadiness. I mean, you know Jrue Holiday is going to be steady. And you know that he's always going to look to make the play. You have to tell this guy to shoot the ball. His teammates have to tell him. The coach has to tell him, shoot the ball. Jrue, you got game. And he can score whenever he wants. He can score. He can take a person inside. He's great from the 3. But the steadiness, the professionalism of Jrue Holiday, being the guy who's going to make that extra pass, look for his players to be open and deliver the ball to them. Tough defense. I mean, they put Jrue Holiday on forwards and centers. That's unbelievable. You got a 6'2", 6'3" guy that you're going to stick on a center and will bump with the center or the forward down low. Doesn't matter. And we'll give you a great box out on the guy. That's Jrue Holiday. Al Horford. Al Horford's not a starter per se, but he's been a starter probably more games than Kristaps Porzingis has been this year. Al brings it every game. Every game you're going to get 100%. He'll chase the ball out of bounds. He'll dive on the floor. He's going to play defense. He's going to go for the rebound. He's going to shoot the 3. He's going to be steady at age 38. A guy that you can depend on to come through. and hit that three when you need it. And then we have Kristaps Porzingis, the other half of the center duo. And Kristaps, shot blocker, versatile as far as he can take the ball to the hoop, or he can shoot a three-point shot from, gosh, close to the half court line, from anywhere inside, anywhere 10 feet inside that half court line. Kristaps Porzingis can make that shot. He's going to rebound. He's going to play great defense. The versatility of Kristaps is unbelievable. So his attributes, he brings his height, he brings versatility, he brings a I'm out here to win attitude. He has that swagger. I'm out here to win. I'm not out here for second place. I'm not out here just to be out here. I'm out here to win. And we'll play in that manner that he's out there to win. So let's move on. Peyton Pritchard. Gosh, Peyton Pritchard. His attributes. The Energizer Bunny, okay? Peyton Pritchard is going to give you 120, 125% every time he's out there. And he's been playing hurt the last 20 games. He's had some various injuries that have slowed him up. But here's a guy who can hit a three 10 feet inside the half-court line. He can hit a three. So you have a situation where any place on the court, he's dangerous. And he can take the ball in. He can drive the ball in and finish with the big guys. So Peyton Pritchard, fearless. He's going to give you 100% on defense too. Not just be out there. He's going to try to make the steals. He's going to try to body his guy up. He's going to try to keep him off the boards. He's going to get rebounds. Peyton Pritchard is going to get rebounds while he's out there on the floor. So there's Peyton Pritchard. Jason Tatum. What can we say about Jason Tatum? I think it's the darling of the Boston, certainly the Boston media. I mean, and Boston fans. We've watched Jason Tatum grow from 18 years old, was 18 or 19 years old, to what is he, 26 now? I mean, and he still stays late, gets there early. He's still chasing Larry Bird. Good luck to him, because that's a heck of a model or role model to chase, or a person to look up to and say that I want to be like him, or on that level as far as passing, rebounding, shooting goes. I mean, such a sights high. And Jason has set his sights high. He's a great passer now. Not as good as Larry Bird, but he's a very good passer. Very good passer now. As addition to a rebounder, shooter, he gives assists. We can go on and on with Jason Tatum, but let's move on to Derek White. And Derek White has become that guy. He's like Sam Jones. He's a Sam Jones on this team, which means, sure, you want to get the ball to Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. And I didn't even mention Jaylen Brown. Oh, gosh. But that's a whole nother thing. But we'll let that go. But Derek White, if you need that shot to happen, you're going to create a shot, an off-balance shot that has to be shot. Somebody has to shoot it. It's Derek White. In addition, with block shots and defense and just heady play, the attributes of the Celtics are that they are smart. They play hard. They will stay late after practice and work on the things that they feel that they have to work on in order to get better. They won't give up. They don't complain. Even when New York is getting more fouls, or they give the Lakers more foul calls than they give the Celtics, the reigning NBA defending champions of the NBA. Even when they're not getting those calls, they don't give up. They just don't sulk and give up. They're going to play through it. They're going to believe they're going to get a chance at the end. And they're going to try to take these guys off at the end. And when I think about the Celtics as the team in the NBA, I put these guys up there with the Larry Bird teams and the John Havlicek teams and the Bill Russell teams, is that they never give up. So that's my take on what makes the Celtics great.
Thank you, Clay, for that. I think the Celtics, well, Clay, in terms of who do you think the Celtics are going to face in the first round, Orlando or Atlanta to start?
I think they're going to face Magic, the Orlando Magic.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, the Celtics did the right thing game against Orlando this past Wednesday, wasn't it? They didn't have any of their starters play, which we've been talking about here on the show. And we hope tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, rather, than the final game of the season, that we don't see any of the starters. We saw many of them except Jaylen Brown play on Friday night. Let's hope tomorrow afternoon that the Celtics rest their starters and get ready for Orlando or Atlanta, whoever they're going to face going forward. But I think it's clear to me, Clay, that it is going to be a Celtics-Cavaliers Eastern Conference final matchup. But A team that I'm watching, Clay, and you just can't count out. We saw them in the playoffs last year in a really good series. Even though the Celtics did sweep them, it was still a good series. The Indiana Pacers.
Indiana
I
Pacers.
think Indiana is going to wallop Milwaukee, and a
Oh,
team that I think could play Cleveland very well, and that's Indiana.
you don't think Milwaukee? You don't think Indiana's fearing the deer?
No, I certainly don't think so. Who would fear the deer? I mean, I certainly don't. I certainly don't fear Milwaukee.
I think they're looking at their chops. I think they're looking at their chops. They're seeing Bambi burgers and Bambi steaks right now.
Right. I think Indiana beats them in 5. That's my prediction. And then you have an interesting matchup, 3 versus 6. You'll have the Knicks taking on the Detroit Pistons.
That's the series. That's the series I'm watching.
Yeah, we've been very high on the Pistons this year. Obviously, good credit to them after having a terrible year last year, and they've been in the basement of the Eastern Conference for many years now, and they're back in the playoffs for the first time in a couple of years at least. And back with a vengeance, too. I mean, J.B. Bickerstaff has really come in after being fired by the Cavaliers, has really come in and tried to reset, refocus, and recharge this Detroit Pistons team, and he's done so with a lot of young talent. And I think the Knicks take that series. Give me the Knicks in 5 games.
In 5
Detroit.
games. But how about if it goes 7?
If it's tied going to 7 games, give me the Knicks at home.
If it goes 7 games, I'm taking Detroit. I think
Really?
Detroit can wear you down, and I think if it goes longer, they'll gain not only experience but confidence that they could beat.
Well, I know Clay's never been impressed with the Knicks anyway under Tom Thibodeau. So,
I'm totally impressed with Tom
they've got
Thibodeau.
some issues. There are a lot of holes in that team. They've lost 3 in a row. And listen, if momentum-wise, I think Detroit has it going in, but I think the Knicks just have a better team on paper and have been here a little bit more so than the
So you got the Knicks. You got the Knicks.
I do have the Knicks.
We're both taking Indiana when it comes to Milwaukee. Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're both taking the Pacers. And then there's another one.
So I think the Celtics, whether it's the Hawks or the Magic, I think the Celtics win that in 5. Yeah. And I think we'll have the Cavaliers, of course, will face either 3 teams. They'll face the winner or the loser rather of the Hawks and Magic. Actually, up to 4 teams they can face. The winner of the loser, of the Hawks and Magic, and of course the winner of the Heat and Bulls. So, out of those 4 teams, I think the Cavaliers will do just fine.
I think the Cavaliers will do just fine.
So give me Cavaliers, Hawks in the first round, Celtics, Magic, Knicks, Pistons, and Pacers, Bucks. That I believe will be the matchups, and I think all the favored seeds will higher seeds rather will take care
advance.
Of it. Now the Western Conference is a little bit different, and Clay, there's been a lot of changeover in the Western Conference this year, particularly with coaches. The Denver Nuggets last week, in a surprising move, at least if you don't follow the Denver Nuggets, I don't follow them as closely as maybe their fan base does, and perhaps you do as well, Clay. Fired head coach Mike Malone. Mike Malone, the winningest coach in Denver Nuggets history, guided them to their only NBA championship win, of course, in 2023. And they fired him and the general manager. Obviously, there were reports that there was a Cold War brewing and they lost a locker room. And it was, despite the fact that the Nuggets have had a pretty good year, 49-32, there have been times this year where they have not looked good. And
Calvin Booth and Mark Malone could not get along, and they are both gone now.
Correct. The Grizzlies did the same thing this year. They fired their head coach, and the Sacramento Kings fired their head coach too, Mike Brown. So a lot of mid-season and in-season firings, and for this part, late-season firings too. I mean, you fired Mike Malone right before the playoffs. Very surprising to me that they would do that, and it just goes to show no matter how successful you are as a head coach in this league, Clay, for whatever reason, everyone and who's anybody is expendable in this league as a head coach. And
no. Joe Mazzulla and Brad Stevens are not expendable. I'm going to stick to that. I'm a Boston homie. Those guys aren't expendable.
Well, maybe not in Boston, but to other franchises, despite the fact that you have the winningest head coach in the league, if you have a couple of games slip up and you lose your locker room, time's up and you're done.
Gosh.
It must have been really bad. I mean, the Grizzlies did the same thing. I mean, Taylor Jenkins came in and really brought the Memphis Grizzlies back to some form of relevance that they haven't seen in a long time. Well, they have a chance to make the playoffs. They're going to be in the play-in tournament, and they've got a chance. And
they got a chance.
The West is so stacked this year, claiming the Grizzlies are 47-34. If you move the Memphis Grizzlies into the East right now, you're looking at them as the fifth seed in the Eastern Conference right now, as opposed to being the eighth and being in the play-in tournament. Now they'll get a chance to get in, even if they lose the first game of the play-in tournament. Then they play the lower of the seed who wins. But even still, the West this year, I mean, you look at, and we talked about Oklahoma City has had a like Cleveland has just been the number one seed all year.
OKC is the class of the West.
They have a 15-game lead over the number 2, which is the Houston Rockets. And then there's a logjam. You've got the Nuggets and the Clippers have played better basketball as of late. Tied for the 4th and 5th seed. One game behind them is the Warriors, and another game behind them is the Timberwolves. So it has not been decided on which team is going to be going to the playoffs and doesn't have to play in the play-in tournament. There are 4 teams right now, and then you got the Grizzlies one game behind both Minnesota.
Okay, but
and
if we look at it just as it is right now, it would be Los Angeles Lakers versus Golden State. Who would you take?
I'd take the Lakers.
I think I'm taking Golden State. Denver against the Los Angeles Clippers. Who do you take?
Well, listen, the Clippers have been known to having a good regular season, then losing in the first round of the playoffs. Give me Denver. I think Denver, for the reason, is playing better basketball after they fired Mike Malone.
Wow.
So give me Denver. And Nikola Jokic, said it best. He said, maybe this awoken the beast. And in that case, look out. If the Denver Nuggets are going to be the team they have been the past couple of years, I would expect them to make a pretty deep run here and maybe play Oklahoma City, try to get to an NBA championship. So give me Denver against the Clippers. Give me the Lakers against the Warriors. And then it really comes down to these other 4 teams, Clay. You got if the season ended right now, you would have Minnesota and Memphis play to become the 7th seed, and then the loser of that game would play the winner of 2 teams that I don't think much of. The defending Western Conference champions, of course, the Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings. So they would play that winner of that game would play the loser of Minnesota and Memphis. But this could all change.
I'm looking at Houston playing Minnesota after all that is said and done, and I'm taking Houston. And against the Clippers in Denver, I don't know if this move that they made, getting rid of Mark Malone, is going to work. As the playoffs go along, I would take the Clippers on that one. So
you take LA over
only because they just fired their man. They just fired the coach. I feel like this is the guy they've been listening to for 10 years. He's embedded in them, and if another guy comes in, he's not going to have that same gravitas as the head coach. And I'm afraid that they made this at the wrong time. But listen, I could be wrong. I mean, we'll find out. They probably have. Let's hope for Denver fans, they have a better pulse on the team than I do as far as management goes for letting Malone go.
The reports were that, this is just reporting here, and I don't like to use this word, but the Nuggets' vibes were poor prior to the shakeup in the locker room, wasn't responding, particularly on defense. There was also a reported Cold War between Malone and the GM booth.
Yeah, that was known.
Playing and developing younger players
in
the rotation.
Right. That was known. Booth and Malone were at odds in between the players that he had drafted that he wanted Malone to play. Malone's trying to think about win now, and he didn't think too much of the players that Booth drafted in the first place. So
you take Golden
that was a mess that was boiling over.
No, certainly. So you would take Golden State over the Lakers.
I would take Golden State over the Lakers. I think they're more cohesive. You're going to have this. To me, you're going to have this big thing between LeBron and Duke. It's going to be a cold, unsaid war between Doncic and James, who can flop and fuss and cry and complain the most and get the ball the most. I mean, these guys demand attention, not only the ball, but attention. And even though nobody's saying this, it's happening under the scenes.
Well, we'll see what happens. Luka went back to Dallas and put up 45, and the Lakers just obliterated the Rockets yesterday evening, 140-109. So
you're talking about the Mavs. They obliterated the Mavs, right?
And the Mavericks, and then the Rockets on Friday night.
Okay, yeah, the Rockets are resting their players.
Okay. Clay, about 45 seconds left in the show. We'll give you the last comment. And hey, just want to say one thing, too. Congrats to Alex Ovechkin. He finally did it. He broke the all-time scoring record for the NHL this year, 890, not just of this year, but of all time, 895 goals, surpassing Wayne Gretzky. Congrats to Alexander Ovechkin at age 39 doing that.
Yeah, Clay, did it in the same amount of games. Great job. And came out stronger as his career progressed. So you got to give to that. Gretzky's career was winding down. He got less goals. Alex Ovechkin actually picked it up this year and got better. So congratulations to Ovechkin and everybody. Just try to take care of one another, loving one another. Stop all this craziness and this fighting, and try to get along. Try to get along.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yeah, have a good weekend. And stay warm if you're up north.
Jump to my feet and